All right, everyone. My name is Blake Sandnes with RMS Roller Grinder, and today I got Matt Podany with EBM Construction, and we're going to talk about what are some of the considerations when expanding your feed mill.
Hi, Blake. Great to be with you.
What we're going to talk a little bit about today is kind of some of the considerations when expanding your feed mill. And obviously, EBM has been around for a lot of years, done a lot of different new renovation and expansion projects and stuff like that. So I wanted to kind of pick your brain on some of those topics for the audience today. But before we get started, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, how long you've been with EBM, and kind of what your role is with EBM?
Yeah, be happy to. So I've been with EBM. I started back in 2008 and until in 2013, and then I left and came back in 2020, and I've been there since. And so what I do is I'm in charge of all of our marketing, business development. I do some sales and kind of wear a lot of hats, I guess. And I travel, go to a lot of our trade shows and things like that. So
Awesome. Get to see a lot of the inner workings of the business and meet with a lot of customers.
yep, meet with a lot of customers, tour a lot of facilities, feed mills, grain facilities, different other plants and that sort of thing, and kind of understand what their uh, issues are and their needs are, and whether that's equipment or facility design or you know renovating or wanting to build a new facility.
So obviously you've been in the industry for a long time. What is it about the feed manufacturing that excites you?
I mean, I think you know as well as I do, the people involved in the feed industry and agriculture in general are very down to earth people. It's fun to work with people in the feed industry. They're very open to, um, you know, talking to people about trying to solve their problems, and um, and that's kind of what our company tries to do is work with the customer to solve problems. And so it's a fun industry. I'm really happy to be a part of it, and there's just really good people throughout the industry, and it's very important. I mean, it's vital to the world, to feed the world. For protein producing customers have to have quality feed. So it's definitely a very important part of our whole existence, I guess.
Yeah, I agree with you. I love the customers we work with. They're really down to earth, and you can really connect with them on a personal level as well. And it's really fun when you get to work with people that you enjoy being around as well. So today, obviously, we talked about some of the considerations when expanding your feed mill. When planning a feed mill expansion, what are some of the most critical factors to customers should be considering up front?
Well, some of the main things is, first of all, an evaluation of what you currently have, um, because that really drives what the expansion is going to look like, and to make sure that it's feasible to do an expansion. We've had some experiences where a customer wants to expand a facility and it turns into building another facility, maybe even adjacent on the same property, to expand capacity. So it's not necessarily just an expansion of the existing mill. It might be building a whole new mill, but next door. And that's just because, what do they have? What kind of infrastructure do you have currently? And what can be used, and how can we expand it and make it, the best return on investment for the customer. So I would say looking at what they have and then what it would take to get what they want to do.
When you are working with the customers, what are some common mistakes or maybe even misconceptions you see when customers are kind of going through the thought process of expanding their feed mill?
Well, there's several things. First of all, it's you don't realize how much, if you want to increase capacity of a mill, what really that's going to entail or what it could possibly take. Whether it's bringing in new equipment and the footprint of that equipment, or just the sheer uh, issues of downtime. if they want to up capacity, how much downtime can they actually afford to put newer, bigger, faster equipment in, if it will even fit into the existing footprint. So I think sometimes it sounds easy, or it's yeah, we can do that, but there's a lot of factors that go into that, as far as shutting the mill down for a certain period of time, the cost of all of that, the cost of the equipment. Generally, you're working. Sometimes if you're just doing a not a simple job, but a critical job, we'll do a lot of weekend and nights to minimize shutdown times, if possible. There's always going to be certain times where it's just going to have to be shut down for a certain period of time, but there's a lot more to it than just, hey, let's put in a bigger mixer, and then um, all the equipment down. How do you make sure that everything is going to work together to speed the production up, I guess.
Yeah, marrying up some of the existing equipment with newer equipment, making sure the specs and everything like that fit together and capacities match and stuff like that. There's a lot more to it than one thinks, right?
Exactly.
So, so Matt, when you guys are helping customers design this, how are you ensuring that the expansion is designed not only for the right here, right now, but the long-term efficiencies of the vision that they have for this facility?
So I would say the most important step that in our process is really sitting down with the customer, kind of partnering together with them to really get a good understanding of what is it that that you're looking to accomplish, and then brainstorming some things, maybe some things that are out of the box, that, hey, would you ever want to do this, or would you ever want to do that, or and nobody necessarily always knows, hey, yeah, in 10 years we're gonna switch and start doing this, but it kind of sparks the thought process to say, yeah, we've thought about that, or that could be a possibility. Not that we have to specifically design something, but just knowing in the back of our minds with the customer, like, hey, you know what, we could do this. It really won't affect the cost, or it won't, change the timeline of the project. But if you ever wanted to do that, this would be a little bit better way to do it. Um, and whether you do it or not doesn't really matter. But really sitting down, and we like to partner with the customers to, like I said, really spend the time up front understanding what they do and what they want to do, and trying to as much as possible forecast what they may want to do in the future beyond what they're thinking now, because it's a lot easier and it to try to identify some of those things up front, then you do exactly what they want, and then 2 years later they're like, oh, we should have done this, or we should have done that. And I mean, you're always going to have some of that, right? But try to minimize that as much as possible. But it takes a lot of time, and with the customer and with us to do that. So there is a commitment of like, hey, let's not rush into this and just start ordering equipment. Let's really spend some time and figure it out. And I would say most of our customers, like, they want to do that, and I think they appreciate that about us, because we don't just want to sell a project or equipment. I mean, we want to make sure that we're maximizing uh, what the customer can do.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. I like to use that analogy sometimes. Sometimes we got to go slow so we can go fast, right? Slow down at the beginning, make sure we get it really planned out. So that way, when we say go, you can really go, because that, like you said earlier, the downtime is critical and you don't want to be making changes
Yep.
mid project, right? Obviously, we talk a lot about technology. What does technology play in the modern feed mill that you guys have kind of seen changing over the last years?
Um, I would say, I mean, I think it probably spans more than the last couple or few years, but just the increased need for automation um, in these facilities, and frankly, older feed mills, people are really wanting to add automation, and even more precision equipment. Uh, you know, a lot of mills, they're still hand adding ingredients. They're still manually weighing out stuff, um, and trying to get more automated and more better record keeping. For so that they can meet all the legislative requirements for making feed and medicated feed and different things like that. So I see the industry is really pushing towards more automation and um, precision. I would say efficiency.
Yeah, and I mean we see that a lot on our side as well as the equipment manufacturers. They want to be able to take away some of those more basic level functions that operators have to do, so they can use that labor and other applications within running a whole feed mill, because there's a ton of things to do at a feed mill every day. Okay. So next question. When you guys are working, obviously with the customers, you always have to work with equipment suppliers, obviously like RMS. How do you guys ensure, machine integration, like proper integration and making it smooth for the customer? Because you guys are bringing together a lot of different pieces of equipment.
We've traditionally we've have kind of a core set of suppliers that we are very comfortable with and that we use a lot. And we really like to promote that to the customer. And I think it's vital that, on specialized pieces of equipment, such as your guys' roller grinders, to get the customer in front of you and to open that dialogue between, us and you guys and the customer, so that they can ask questions and they feel comfortable about it. We obviously feel comfortable with it, but I think that's an important part of the process, so that it is um, a project goes smooth, because we're confident in the equipment, but it makes it even better when the customer is very confident in the equipment as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and we've always appreciated the ability to work alongside, our contractors, EBM being one of them, to really understand what that is, the needs for the project, so we can make our best recommendation for the piece of equipment. Not only like we've talked about the right here, right now, but thinking about future potential
Yeah,
for them as well.
and just to kind of go back to that a little bit, it also helps. You know, we've got a lot of knowledge, obviously, at our company, but it does help when the customer can talk directly to the manufacturer with us, because they have questions that maybe we necessarily can't answer, or instead of going back and forth, it works well. So I mean, I feel like we have a good partnership with like you guys and some other equipment suppliers to be able to do that, and that's that's very important. I think the customers like that. They know that, like, hey, we use these guys, we've had really good luck with them, and if there's an issue, or if or and when there's an issue, that we're going to stand behind it, you're going to stand behind it, type of thing. So it kind of gives them that peace of mind.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Okay, so last question. What are some of the unexpected challenges that arise during an expansion project, and how do you guys typically try to overcome them? Obviously, every challenge is a little different, but kind of what's your guys' approach to that?
I mean, again, we really do a lot of that on the front end. So especially like an existing mill, for one, we started doing 3D laser scanning, several years ago, which has tremendously improved um, our layout and design capability in house. And it doesn't totally eliminate, any issues, but you can and like I said, we do our own in-house drafting and design, so we can actually draw everything, make sure everything's going to fit together and it's going to work. before we start ordering equipment and before we are on site. So we generally don't have a lot of issues once we're on site per se. But if there is an issue or something gets missed, it's just, sitting down and figuring out, okay, what do we got to do to, get this fixed and get on track and go from there. But, I would say the technology that we're using today has really helped us to avoid a lot of that before we even quote the job, so that, we're just more accurate with all of it up front.
And that 3D laser scanning is such a cool technology that's really kind of come to fruition and really been utilized by the industry for a while. But it helps tremendously to really get that pre-planning in place. So it's always cool to see you guys going out and doing that. Okay, so last thing. So if someone's considering an expansion, kind of what are the first steps they should take if they're interested in seeing how EBM could help them out with that?
Just reaching out to us, and we're always happy to meet with the customer and kind of we, like I said, we really want to understand their process, their mill, and then understand what are you trying to achieve, what how can we help, and what are some of your requirements, and then looking at their facility, and like I said, it's kind of partnering together with them to figure it out together, and putting a plan together, and ultimately a budget for them, and that sort of thing. So yeah, I mean, it's basically as simple as that. I mean, kind of the initial contact and kind of summary scope, and then we just start building a plan and working together.
Well, thanks again, Matt, for your time today and your expertise. Again, Blake with RMS Roller Grinder, Matt with EBM Construction. Obviously, if you have any questions about either of our companies, our equipment, or our capabilities, happy to help out. Reach out to one of us. We'd be glad to help you out. So thanks again, Matt.
Yeah, thank you, Blake. I appreciate it. And it's been really good working with you guys, and we look forward to working with you a lot more in the future here.
Absolutely. Same here.